Welcome to your Extra Shot of Sunrise. Carlos Diaz and Meredith Juliet. We're joined by Kelly this morning. We've got some breaking news to get to right off the top. We don't like to start with sad news on any day, especially on a Friday, but we do have a fatality to talk about over on the near the interstate, Kelly.
Yes, it's on the city's east side near I-465. This is at Shadeland and 10th Street. Earlier this morning, about 6:30, we believe that there was a vehicle fire involving two different vehicles, and this crash has caused, unfortunately, a fatality here at 10th and Shadeland. Two other people have been transported to the hospital. We do have a crew on the way there to find out more details about this accident, but yes, it's not on the interstate system, but likely going to be some shutdowns through that area. But again, 10th and Shadeland, we do have one fatality and two other people being transported to the hospital right now, Carlos.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much, and we'll keep you posted on that throughout the morning. Before we start, let's talk about some good mornings. Sherry, Greg, Chris, Bruce, Ryan, all saying good morning already on our Facebook page. You can join the conversation by hitting us up on the Facebook comments below. And let's talk about the honoring of the victims from that FedEx shooting, which happened just a week ago. This time last week, we were still on the air talking about the breaking news. Today, Matt Alexander will be laid to rest. This is the first funeral for the FedEx shooting victims. His service is set for 11 a.m. this morning at Plainfield Christian Church. Two other victims will be remembered tomorrow. Visitation for Carly Smith is at the Blended Church at 10 a.m. The funeral for Amarjeet Johal will be live streamed tomorrow morning at 10:30. Then on Monday, Samaria Blackwell will be buried by loved ones. Sad situation there. I know her family from the south side. Her service is at 2:30 at Southport Christian Church. So it's just, it's one of those things where, you know, we're honoring those 8 people who lost their lives just by going to work last week. Right. And it just reminds us to once again hug your loved ones this weekend. I know my kids got tired of daddy giving them hugs and kisses even more so than I usually do last weekend, because it's one of those things where, you know, it's tough to even talk about the loss that we suffered last week.
Yeah, it shakes you to your core, especially at, you know, the youngest being 19. Just kind of, it gives you chills and breaks your heart at the same time. All right, we want to switch gears a little bit to a new bill that just passed the House and goes to the Senate. It's about Washington, D.C. potentially becoming a state. So could we be seeing a 51st state? It's possible. That would be D.C. So it's the H.R. 51 bill. It passed the U.S. House of Representatives with a vote of 216 to 208. Republicans are fiercely opposed to this idea. I find this whole story really interesting. So this is really a Democrat-backed mission, and here's their reasoning why they're pushing this. So D.C. has a population of more than 700,000 people. Establishing the District of Columbia as a 51st state means full representation in Congress, meaning that they would get 2 senators and a group of representatives. Republicans see that as the likely addition of 2 more Democrats to the Senate. The Biden administration, of course, fully supporting and backing this bill. Now, advocates of statehood point out the district has a larger population than Wyoming and Vermont, a larger population than 2 states, and that D.C. pays more in federal taxes per capita than any state. But D.C. was founded, or the Constitution anyways, dictates that D.C. should remain neutral. So it's a really interesting, back and forth. So Republicans say if you want this to happen, it needs to be introduced as an amendment to the Bill of Rights because it's changing the Constitution, whereas Democrats say, you know, times have changed. It's been, what, 240 years? D.C. has a whole group of people, 700,000 people living here, pay taxes here, and they can't vote for representation in our Congress. So it's super interesting. People on social media, like, were going crazy about it. It was one of our most interacted with posts in, like, the last couple of weeks.
Well, and because it's so jarring.
Yeah.
We've all, I mean,
it
really
appeared out of nowhere, kind of.
I mean, I don't, you know, I was not alive when there were 48 states.
Yeah.
You know, I would say a majority of Americans, you know, have lived their lives with 50 states and not 48. So to go to 51, that's big. And then also, too, we live in a red state, and this would clearly help Democrats.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm sure a lot of people here in Indiana are not happy about that.
Right.
You know, and so you have that going on.
It faces an uphill battle in the Senate, too. we expect, in the likelihood, it's likely not going to pass, but it'll be interesting. I mean, the Senate with Kamala Harris's vote does have majority, but this would be a really interesting thing for them to kind of be the hill that they die on, you know?
Right. And then, of course, there's been all that talk in the past about Puerto Rico becoming a state.
Right.
You know, so you say, well, how about we do 52 states? And then that's a whole other can of worms. I'm sure the comment section is blowing up right now with that. The funny thing, when this came down as an alert, I thought, because we had not heard anything about it.
Right.
Usually, like us in the news, we kind of know what's coming up that day.
Yeah.
This kind of all snuck in. I think that's another reason we had so many comments, because people were like, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
where did this come from?
Where did this come from? Yeah.
Brian says, if D.C. is made a 51st state, can we make Greenwood the 52nd and Carlos can be governor?
That'd be great. I think that Greenwood could be its own state. We have a vast array of stuff. I don't know what our main.
Sherry says, are they going to make Puerto Rico a state too? That would be the next conversation. Ryan says Poppy and Ziggy could be the senators. That they would love that. They don't get along though, so they'd have to be on different sides of the aisle. Lacey says, does she have a blanket on? Not a blanket, but 2 sweaters this morning, because I kid you not, it is freezing in here. My hands have been so cold. I wish I had gloves.
Yeah, and in the newsroom, I have a fan on me. All right, so there you go. That's the difference in climates that we have here.
Because the studio has the hot lights.
And I just run hot. So Lucas Oil Stadium has got a vaccine clinic. Marion County's top doc says it's been a challenge to get people vaccinated here in Marion County.
Yeah.
That's why some clinics are making it super easy for you to get your shot. The clinic at Lucas Oil Stadium today will even accept walk-up appointments. However, you can still schedule one if that's better for you. The Colts, Meyer, and Lucas Oil Stadium hope to vaccinate 4,000 Hoosiers over the next 2 days. You can text Colts to the number on your screen, 75049, to sign up. We've also posted that number at WTHR.com. And here's the thing. We did a story earlier this morning, and allow me to kind of critique my Southside brethren, if you will, that they wanted to do this thing in Morgan County, where they wanted to do a mass vaccination site in Morgan County. They had it all set up and ready to go, 1,200 vaccines, the Moderna vaccine, not the Johnson & Johnson, the Moderna vaccine, and less than 100 people showed up. And now we're hearing this story about Lucas Oil Stadium where they're like, you know what, we'll take walk-ups, you know? And I'm like, ooh, because, and you're hearing on the national level that there are a lot of places where people are, the demand for the vaccine is kind of dying down. And far be it from us to have an opinion as newscasters and as journalists. My opinion as a person is, here is the solution. And this is what we heard, by the way, and I'm just echoing a soundbite that we heard today from a healthcare worker who said, we have the solution now. We have the vaccines. And the fact that people aren't running out to get them is alarming.
Yeah.
So,
and, you know, the vaccines are safe. We can tell you that. That is a fact. They are safe. They are effective. We encourage you to get it if you feel comfortable. And it is, I do worry. It was so hard to get the vaccine for so long. And now it's like, I think the Johnson & Johnson blood clot really put that hesitancy on people that were already feeling a little hesitant about getting it. And I think that, obviously, as you said, too, it's kind of devastating. We're seeing the demand kind of peter out.
Well, keep in mind, and we stress this every time we do that Johnson & Johnson story, that the initial claim of 6 people getting sick, that was 6 people with blood clots out of more than 7 million who got the vaccine, okay? Right. And I applaud the CDC and the FDA for taking this abundance of caution, but a lot of people are also wondering how much that eroded confidence in the vaccine.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, you still have the Moderna vaccine and the Pfizer vaccine if you don't want to go with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And let me just tell you this, you know, and this was, once again, I'm echoing what somebody said, you know, any kind of vaccine side effects. I know, Meredith, you've had the vaccine. I am fully vaccinated now. It's been weeks since I got my second Pfizer shot. You know, I had the sore arm. I got a little sweaty, but I always get sweaty. But anything that I went through with the vaccine does not compare to what you're going to go through with the coronavirus.
Right.
You know, and so the coronavirus is real. The vaccines are real. You can do the math on that, but it's alarming if we don't get to that 70 to 80% of the population being vaccinated. And I'm not saying this as a journalist. I'm not trying to be a salesman here. I'm just talking to you as a human being.
Right.
You know.
It's funny, there's some memes that have come out about like the vaccines, and I saw one that made me laugh out loud. So I got Moderna, you got Pfizer, and this tweet was like, it feels like all the hot people are getting Pfizer. Like, I got Moderna, oh my God. It made me laugh out loud.
Well, I'm definitely proof against that. But I did have a choice. This is just, and there's no like, science that I went, I'm just like, I'm going to go Pfizer.
Yeah.
And so I got to choose which one.
Oh, good for you.
Well, yeah, because you can choose where you go.
Right, on the website.
On the websites. And so I'm like, the Community South has Pfizer. It's a hospital. I felt better about being in a hospital in case I had adverse reactions. But like I said, I got my vaccine, and I mean, it took 3 minutes to walk in and get it.
Right.
And then I waited for 15 minutes, and I was fine. The next day, my arm was kind of sore. That was it, you know? So it's just one of those things where I'm just hoping we don't stall out now. And, the people who really wanted it now have it, and then the people are like, So it's a free country. You can do whatever you want.
Yep.
But I would tend to believe that the vaccine has less negative effects than actually getting coronavirus.
I agree. All right, we're counting down to the Indy 500. We want to make sure that you know how to get tickets. It's basically impossible. We want to remind you there's an important deadline if you have a ticket to this year's race. So maybe you bought one or season tickets, I don't know. You need to let Speedway know if you're planning to still come to the race by tonight at 8 p.m. That's because they're capping the attendance at 40%. Now, don't forget, Channel 13 is your home for all your race coverage during the month of May. You can watch it right here Sunday, May 30th. We just don't know yet if it's going to be live you can watch it or how we've done it in the past where it's aired on a delay. Now, if you want a ticket, you can apply on the IMS website, but that doesn't secure a ticket for you or anything like that. There's essentially no general admission. If you don't have a ticket yet, you're likely not going to get one, but you can apply if you want one.
Right. And so here's the thing. They pre-sold 170,000 tickets, okay?
Yeah.
Those tickets are sold. So there's basically around 135,000 people as of now who will be allowed in the race. So they're probably expecting a handful of people or a large number of people saying, well, we're not going to go. But I don't know. When you have, 135,000 get into the race now, they have 170,000 tickets sold. That's 35,000 people that might be told they can't come. So, even if 30,000 of them say we're not coming, that's still 5,000 over capacity. So you getting a ticket if you don't have one is the chances are slim. So just kind of giving that heads up. Let's move on to just nicer. Well, you want to talk about some comments?
Just a few comments here.
I'm sure the comments are killing me for telling people to get the vaccine.
Glenn says he got his first vaccine on Sunday at IMS. He gets his second May 16th at IMS. That's awesome. Lisa saying they are safe. Please know there are often concerns, but this is the best way to get back to normal, just like when polio was an epidemic. A couple people saying, no, I'm not getting the vaccine. Ryan says, I agree with you, Carlos. Someone saying, do you need an ID to get the vaccine? Lonnie replied and just said, call 211, schedule your appointment, and they can kind of answer your questions that way.
Right. I made my appointment. They did check my ID, even though the woman watched Sunrise and said that she's like, I know who you are. And I said, well, here's my ID. And she's like, you're 50?
Oh, my gosh.
And you don't weigh that much anymore. I'm like, I know, guys, be quiet now. So here's the counterpoint. Dan says, there's no way in hell I'm taking the vaccine. Denise says, I got Pfizer, got chills, 100.5 temp, felt a bit crummy, but 12 hours after that, but 12 hours of that is well worth it versus getting the virus. So there you go. That's kind of cool.
Me too. And I was hesitant to share that I had a bad reaction just because I didn't want to add to the vaccine hesitancy because, as she said, it's like a 12, 24-hour thing. But my first dose of Moderna knocked me out. Josh got the first dose of Moderna and his arm hurt. He couldn't lift his arm up, but he was basically fine. So hopefully that means my second dose will not be as bad. I'll report back in, I think, 2 weeks is when I get my second.
Who got that Moderna vaccine?
Josh. Oh, I don't have my coffee cup. Take a drink, though. All right, while he's taking a drink.
Real quick, hold on. Jeffrey says, Pfizer for me, no side effects at all.
Good.
So there we go. And by the way, I want to also say this. I've said this 1,000 times. For people out there who say there's not enough research about it, that's fine. But don't just say there's not enough research about it without looking into it yourself.
Right.
Okay? Don't get your research from the comment section below. I already see a bunch of people commenting about, let me tell you about the vaccine. Don't listen to the people here that say, let me tell you about the vaccine. Go to the CDC's website, cdc.org.
Yep.
You can also go to the FDA's website. You can go to dozens of legitimate websites with scientific knowledge about the facts about the vaccine,
Yeah.
okay? You can also call 211. You can also, we don't have the scan code in the bottom right-hand corner, but you can go to WTHR.com.
Yeah.
Don't get your news from somebody posting it in the comment section on Facebook. Please get your news from reputable sources.
Amen. All right, I went to Shake Shack yesterday. It opened, the first one in Indiana. Take a look at how it went. All right, we are inside the Fisher's Shake Shack, the first Shake Shack opening up in Indiana. I've had it once before in New York City, and I'm excited to see if the cheesy fries live up to what I remember. First person to eat in here. I'm excited. I'm kind of nervous. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is premium. This is premium. So good. What are you doing here today?
Well, I was hoping to be one of the first people in here, and it looks like it's going to happen.
How early did you get here to be first in line?
Got here at about 9:30 this morning. It's the first Shake Shack in Indiana, and I wanted to be the first person to have it.
And it's their shakes, which brings me to the door.
You gotta get the Shack Burger.
I'm gonna go with the classic cheeseburger and fries and a chocolate shake.
You have to order a shake. And from today's selection, I would say order a chocolate pudding shake.
So this is our first shack that we're opening with a pickup window. So I call it our Shack Track. So you actually order on the app, you select the drive up option, and you pick up through the window, so you don't have to wait in line. You don't even have to get out of your car.
Those fries, oof, they were really good.
Yeah, okay. So let me just say something real quick. I'm Mr. Controversy today, okay?
Okay, great.
All right, here we go. So I dig Shake Shack. When I lived in Vegas, they opened one in Vegas. We went a lot, too much. And so the milkshakes are unbelievable.
Very good.
They're life-changing, okay? The milkshakes are great. Fries, the cheese fries are good.
Cheese fries are very good.
Fries, I'm like, the cheeseburgers, the hamburgers, the burgers are good. They're not like, oh my God, they're not Brew Burger.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
Because you're going to pay a little more at Brew Burger.
Right.
Brew Burger. But they're very, very good. Okay, because I don't want to sit here and say and play it up and someone go, well, that's just a cheeseburger, you know? Okay, but here's the thing. I love Steak and Shake. I love Steak and Shake. And when I started going to Shake Shack, I'm like, well, it's kind of like Steak and Shake. You can get shakes, you can get these burgers and this and that. Okay, the advantage of Shake Shack over Steak and Shake is service. Is the fact that you can get your food faster. And that's what Steak and Shake needs to work on. Get the food. We live in a now environment.
Right.
Okay, we don't have time to sit down and wait. We need our food now. You know?
Sadly.
And that's what Steak and Shake, and I love that they're reopening some Steak and Shakes here in Indianapolis. I'm seeing them reopen on the South Side after the pandemic, and please, Steak and Shake, get the food to us faster. When you walk into a Shake Shack, you stand in line, you order, and then you go sit down, and the food is ready pretty quickly.
Yep.
A lot quicker than Steak and Shake.
Yep.
So if they want to stay competitive at Steak and Shake, they need to get the food out faster.
So this Fisher's location opened. There's going to be one that's right off of Mass Ave that's opening later this summer, and then they're opening a third Shake Shack at Keystone. And people might be like, this isn't the first in Indiana. There's one in the airport, which there is, but it's past the ticket counter.
Right.
So you can't just like stop into the airport.
So that's not for people from Indiana. That's for people with a connecting
people
flight.
traveling.
It's people with a connecting flight.
Yep.
Because when you travel these days, you don't have time to go to the Shake Shack because you're spending all the time in security and this and that, But just to go back to my thing, like when I was a kid, Jerry's. It was like Frisch's Big Boy.
Yeah.
It was called Jerry's on the South Side on US 31 next to the corner of Smith Valley Road. And that went away. Why? Because people were impatient. They didn't want to, it was a nice, you go in, you sit in a booth, they have the person at the counter and you get the dentine gum and the whole thing. But people got impatient. They wanted their food now. And I just don't want to see Steak and Shake go that route of going away. Because it is. I love the platter. You get the chili and the little tiny fries and the triple steak burger.
The chicken tenders there are very good.
The chicken tenders are good. But just you gotta get the service to be better, especially in the drive-through. Don't even get me started on that. Going through, like you better have a book to read if you're going through a Steak and Shake drive-through. So Shake Shack is filling that void by saying we're going to get you Steak and Shake quality food, but you're going to get it faster, and you're going to get great shakes too.
This is a great comment to end on. James says, "Who cares?" So
yes, exactly. There we go. I appreciate, and I love people who come in. They watch long enough to say that they don't care.
Yep.
And then rather than just going someplace else on their phone, they go, "Hold on, let me tell them I don't care." Hold
and
on.
keep watching to see if we tell them that they don't care.
Exactly.
He doesn't care. We're going into Friday.
Cares?
For Carlos Diaz, I'm Meredith Juliet. Thanks for watching Extra Shot of Sunrise. We'll see you Monday morning. 7:15.
Bye, James.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Kelly Green from the Speedway Traffic Center. Do want to get you an update. We do have a fatality, unfortunately, this Friday morning on the city's east side at Shadeland Avenue at 10th Street. This was a two-vehicle crash. We believe it was a vehicle fire involved with this, and unfortunately a fatality. Also, 2 other people were sent to the hospital. We don't have any further updates, but we do have a crew that is on location, and they're going to be gathering more info. So we'll have more information through our WTHR social media streams, as well as at the 12 noon show today. Also, off to the west side, we do have a disabled vehicle at I-465 northbound at 46th Street. And here's a live look at that disabled vehicle at I-465 and West 46th Street. This is northbound. It's just off the shoulder. You should be in good shape to get around that area. Just want to give you the heads up on that. All right, let's go to some construction at I-70 eastbound at Post Road. This construction continues until April the 28th. It's intermittent lane closures, eastbound travel lanes, but you can see a lot of barrels up there. A lot of signage as well at I-70 at Midhofer Road. Traffic is really light this morning. Looks to be moving along just fine this morning. All right, from there, we will head a little farther west of that area along I-70 for the northbound split construction. We have 2 lanes closed from Keystone Way to Lewis Street, and this is going to continue ongoing through about May the 31st. And here's a look at the I-70 Rural Street Keystone camera. We have a lot of construction in this area. Speed limits are down to 40 miles per hour in those westbound travel lanes. Do abide by those speed limits. There are police officers on the scene, and there's a lot of construction workers, so please use some caution as you travel through that area. A little farther from that north split area, we'll go deeper into the north split at I-65 southbound. The exit ramp to North Street is closed, and a little farther south of that, the exit ramp off of I-65 southbound to Ohio Street is also closed. All right, from there, let's head over to some fun pictures here. This is at I-70 Sam Jones Expressway. I stumbled on this by accident earlier this morning. I believe that's a hawk with a mama bird on her nest, and she was looking at me earlier today. She's very sweet. Yes, I just want to pat her head. Hi, mama bird. All right. Just something light today because it's been pretty heavy the last couple of hours. At I-70 out west, we will take a look here at this construction that continues in the Plainfield area all the way out to Cloverdale. I-70 eastbound, the shoulder is closed. Little Point Road all the way out to 267. So we have that construction on eastbound I-70. Shoulder is closed all the way to State Road 39. And here's a look at the State Road 267 camera at I-70. There was a lot of construction on State Road 267 earlier this year and even late 2020, but we have a lot of construction still happening on I-70 with narrow lanes there, so do use caution as you travel through that section. Here's a look at the I-70 camera east of State Road 39. You can see a lot of the construction signs giving you the heads up that construction is in your direction. All right, from there we will head to I-465 and I-65. This is I-465 eastbound to the I-65 southbound ramp. It is intermittently closed, so it's not closed right now, but it's closed during the overnight hours, basically Sunday through Thursday. So keep that in mind if you have travels that way. For the next week, that will be occurring. And then here's a look at that I-65 and I-465 camera. Again, traffic is very light this Friday morning. Right from there, let's head up along I-65 to the Whitestown area. I-65 northbound, and this is maintenance work near the Whitestown Parkway. They've had a lot of work going on through this area. A lot of barrels up. Here's a look at the I-65 and State Road 344 camera. You can see the construction, a lot of barrels up and signage and a little bit heavier traffic, certainly slower speeds going through that area. And here's another look at the I-65 camera south of 267. Again, a lot of barrels up there through that stretch as well. So use some caution as you head through Whitestown this weekend, and this is ongoing construction for the next couple of weeks. Here's another look at I-65. We're heading all the way down towards the Greenwood area. This is just north of Greenwood at Southport Road, all the way up to I-465. Construction continues until May the 15th. And when we look at this I-65 Southport Road camera, you can see there is a lot of barrels up on the ramp system off of I-65 onto Southport Road. All right, from there, we'll head to the east side at I-465 and State Road 52, Brookville. We have maintenance going on there all the way out to 600, and this is ongoing with signal work, and it's going to continue for, I believe, the next week or so. So keep that in mind as you travel along US 52. Here's a look at the I-465 and camera at 52 there. You can see traffic is starting to increase there a little bit, but moving right along. All right, one more section here. We're going to talk about Fisher's area, State Road 37 construction work. This is a big project. They're getting a lot done. It's amazing to see how much gets constructed here at 146th Street all the way up to Greenfield Road. This is a look at the camera there at State Road 37, just north of 146th Street. It's very narrow through that area. Speed limits are down to about 40 miles per hour. A lot of construction workers out there, so please use some caution as you travel through that area. All right, that's what we have here from the Speedway Traffic Center. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm Kelly Green.
Stay for long